Good afternoon, and welcome to the February 3rd edition of Success by Association Live. This issue is sponsored by Caesars Entertainment. We thank them for their steadfast support of AENC. Today's article is written by Ron Bergeron and is reprinted with permission. The article is titled, Can the America of the 1800s Still Inspire Association Professionals in 2021? Much has been said about how America just had to get through that seemingly never-ending 2020, and then all of a sudden we thought, can we now just get through January 2021? Well, it's finally February, so it's now 1 down and 11 to go for 2021. During these tumultuous times, the associations we know and love can lead by example for all Americans in several important ways. Here are some observations and ideas out of two books from long ago that could provide the motivation and momentum we all need in the here and now. Inspiration from Alex de Tocqueville's Democracy in America. Alex de Tocqueville was a French aristocrat in his early 30s when he came to America in 1831 to study its penitentiary system, but he also came to see for himself this still young and maturing republic. His original intention was not to write a book, but ultimately his 9 months here were spent making his ambition to study America's ambition. To this day, Democracy in America is often considered to be the best book ever written on democracy and/or the best book ever written in America. This book is 772 pages long, but don't worry, we'll only be reviewing quotes here and we'll keep our primary focus on its passages pertaining to associations. The most natural right of man, after that of acting on his own, is that of combining his efforts with those of his fellows and acting together. Leaders and professionals in our industry today still cite the words of the inherently quotable de Tocqueville's words about and impressions of America's associations. He acknowledged that the country's strength relied heavily upon our support of them when he said, Nothing, in my view, more deserves attention than the intellectual and moral associations in America. Indeed, he has also offered that if people are to remain civilized or to become civilized, the art of association must develop and improve among them at the same speed as equality of conditions spread. Seems like he may have been onto something here, huh? De Tocqueville was astounded by what he observed. As soon as several Americans have conceived a statement or an idea that they want to produce before the world, they seek each other out, and when found, they unite. Thenceforth, there are no longer isolated individuals, but a power conspicuous from the distance whose actions serve as an example. Yes, that's what we do. In associations, he said, all of the members are advancing at the same time toward the same goal, but they are not obligated to follow the exact same path. There has been no sacrifice or will or of reason, but rather and reason are applied to bring success to a common enterprise. Yep, that's who we are. So if de Tocqueville was here with us in America in 2021, what would he tell us? I believe he would remind us all that if Americans did not learn some habits of acting together in the affairs of daily life, civilization itself would be in peril. Although de Tocqueville may not have loved everything he saw in America, his message no doubt would be an optimistic one. It would surely include one of his most insightful lines. The greatness of America lies not only in being more enlightened than any other nation, but rather in her ability to repair her faults. That's some powerful stuff right there. There's no end which the human will despairs of attaining by the free action of the collective power of individuals. It could be said that de Tocqueville, that he was among the most effective who have ever been, promoted the idea that people have more in common than in conflict, that we will have more to unite us than divide us. Inspiration from General Henry M. Roberts' Rules of Order. General Harry M. Robert was a U.S. Army who created the packet manual Rules of Order for Deliberation Assemblies in 1876, after he vowed to bring order to chaos when a public church meeting he led went terribly awry. An authorship team selected by Roberts Rules Association has been responsible for revising and updating the book. Last year, Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised 12th edition, was released and is now only current authorized edition of the classic work on parliamentary procedure. This book is 816 pages long, but don't worry, we'll only be reviewing the general commentary and principles here, and not the often arcane rules of precedence for its 8 different types of motions. It's difficult to find another branch of knowledge than parliamentary law where a small amount of study produces such great results in increased efficiency. First, a careful balance of rights is placed in RROO based on a regard for the rights of the majority, of the minority, of individual members, of absentees, and of all the groups together. The balance among each of these entities creates the respectful but definite framework upon which successful discussion and collaboration can thrive. The minority has the right to be heard. The majority has the right to prevail. Is this philosophy worth mention in 2021? Then discussions are framed by a few fundamentals to keep your communications on target. You conduct discussions by addressing no more than one subject at a time. You can stay focused through a definite way of saying no. You conduct debate by alternating between opposite points of view. You can allow clarity for both sides of an issue while also providing a definite indication that it's time to shift from talking to voting. Once the vote has taken place, that issue is considered resolved and completed. Is this construct still appropriate or viable these days? Finally, your discourse is also defined by several guidelines to keep your conversation fair and appropriate. Just as de Tocqueville also often included the need for civility in his tome, Robert insisted that decorum always be used in debate. Discussion is always to be confined to the merits of the pending question and not to the personalities involved. And finally, majority vote rules. Perceived consensus or a tie are insufficient. 50% plus 1 or unanimity are excessive, and these are approaches and definitions consistently respected and upheld today, where there is no law, but where every man does what is right in his own eyes, there is the least of real liberty. It could be said that about Robert that he was among the most effective who has ever promoted the idea that it's better to talk to someone than at someone, better to speak with someone than at anyone. In closing, the American Society of Association Executives does a great job in present times of communicating about the role critical associations play in America. In fact, on January 7th, they released a message that said, in part, associations have proven a unique ability to bring together individuals in support of common purpose. Differences of opinion, background, and experiences are welcomed. ASE has echoed de Tocqueville's notions by saying that associations have their roots in America founding, and over time we have perfected the art of working together so that industries, professions, and individuals can succeed to their fullest. ASAE also recalled General Roberts' instruction when saying that today association professionals are champions for all of those who rely on civil discourse for the good of society. Though our ingrained ability to collaborate, we set an example for others who must come together to achieve meaningful results. I believe that the power of associations demonstrate how America works best when we are together. And I know that Americans need to collaborate in problem solving now more than ever. I am proud that associations have long been seen as leaders not just in the art of civil discourse, but in the ability to come together when things need to get done. And I also know the best way to move forward is to first to look back. Ron Bergeron, CAE, a new North Carolinian and new AENC member, is the principal Sherpa at Association Management Sherpa LLC, serving as an experienced guide for nonprofit leaders pursuing peak performance. He may be reached at ronbergeroncae@gmail.com. That concludes our article. We hope you have a great day.